Have you ever made a mistake so small, so unimportant, that you laughed it off, only to realize later it was the one thing that changed your entire life? Sometimes destiny doesn't knock at your door, it accidentally texts you. And what started as a wrong number became a story the whole world would talk about. But before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because what you're about to hear will shock you to your core. Emma Collins was 24, a quiet dreamer stuck in the noise of real life. She worked as an assistant at a publishing company, helping authors chase their dreams while silently burying her own. Her apartment was tiny, her coffee was cheap, and her heart had learned to settle for less. But that night, as rain fell softly against her window, she made a single mistake that destiny had been waiting for. Her friend Mia had been texting her all day about a blind date. "He's tall, confident, and rich," Mia had written, sending a picture of a ridiculously handsome man. Emma laughed, typing back something teasing, her fingers moving too fast. "If he looks this good in a photo, I can only imagine what he looks like without his shirt, or anything else." She giggled, hit send, and went back to her tea, completely unaware that she had typed one wrong digit. 10 minutes later, her phone buzzed. "Interesting message. Do you always text strangers like that?" Her heart froze. She blinked at the screen, rechecked the number, and gasped. It wasn't Mia. "Oh my God," she whispered. Her hands flew over the screen. "I'm so sorry. Wrong number. Please ignore." She tossed the phone on her couch and buried her face in her hands. "Perfect. I just sexted a stranger." But the stranger didn't ignore her. Another message arrived. "Most people lie when they make a mistake. You didn't. I respect that." Emma frowned. "Who talks like that?" "Still," she typed, "I promise, it was an accident." "Goodbye," he replied. "Good night, Emma." She froze again. She hadn't told him her name. That night, she barely slept. The next morning, she checked her phone, nothing. By afternoon, another message came. "You seem honest. That's rare. What do you do?" Despite herself, she answered. One reply led to another. Days passed. Slowly, conversations grew longer. She learned his name was Alex. He said he ran a business, traveled a lot, barely slept. His messages were calm, confident, sometimes cold, but they made her feel seen. He listened when no one else did. She told him things she'd never admitted aloud, her failed writing dreams, her loneliness, her fears. Weeks passed, and their connection grew strange and deep. Emma didn't know what Alex looked like, but his words made her heart race. Then one morning, her world stopped. While scrolling through the news, she froze on a headline: "Alexander Knight, billionaire CEO of Knight Enterprises, acquires new tech empire." The photo beneath it made her breath catch. The sharp jawline, the cold eyes, the aura of command. It was him, the man she'd been texting, Alexander Knight. The billionaire everyone whispered about. Her mind spun. Her messages, her jokes, her confessions, she'd said all of it to one of the most powerful men in the country. And he had known all along. She typed furiously, "You're Alexander Knight, the CEO." He replied instantly, "You finally Googled me. Why didn't you tell me?" She wrote, "Because for once, someone talked to me like a person, not a bank account." Her heart thudded. He then sent another text, "Dinner. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'll send a car." She stared at the screen. Every part of her screamed no, but curiosity whispered yes. The next evening, a black Mercedes stopped outside her building. The driver opened the door like she was royalty. Her heart was a drumbeat as she entered the shimmering glass tower of Knight Enterprises. When the elevator doors opened, she saw him. Alexander Knight. He was taller than she imagined. Impeccably dressed, eyes sharp enough to cut through silence. He smiled faintly. "So, you're the woman who dares to text a billionaire things like that?" Emma's cheeks flamed. "I told you, it was a mistake." He walked closer. Mistakes are just unexpected opportunities. The dinner was surreal. The restaurant was empty, he had reserved it entirely. Yet despite the luxury, the conversation was genuine. He asked about her dreams, her favorite books, her fears. For a man used to power, he seemed fascinated by her simplicity. Over the next weeks, their meetings became more frequent. She saw sides of him no one believed existed, his laughter, his exhaustion, the rare moments when he looked lonely. Slowly, Emma fell for him. And though Alexander was not a man who expressed emotions easily, there was a softness in his eyes when he looked at her. One night, under city lights, he told her, "You remind me what it's like to feel human again." But Emma wasn't blind. Whispers surrounded her. Paparazzi photos leaked. Headlines read, "Unknown woman captures the heart of billionaire CEO." Employees whispered behind her back. And soon, her company fired her quietly, conflict of interest. Her world began to crack. She confronted Alexander. "People think I'm using you. I lost my job, my friends, because of this." He stared at her, calm as ever. "Do you regret it?" She hesitated. "No, but I don't know who you really are. I don't know if this is real." He stepped closer. "It's real. You're the only thing that feels real." That night, he kissed her for the first time. The world outside faded. For once, Emma believed she had found something genuine in a world built on lies. But the truth was waiting, sharp and merciless. A month later, Emma walked into his office to surprise him. But what she saw froze her blood. Alexander was standing with another woman, elegant, confident, the kind of woman who belonged in his world. They were arguing. The woman's voice was sharp. "You're playing games again, Alex." "Another charity project." Emma stepped back, stunned. Alexander turned, eyes wide. "Emma." The woman smirked. "Oh, so this is her. The assistant who thinks she's special." Emma's throat tightened. "Who is she?" Alexander's jaw clenched. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" She whispered. "Because it looks exactly like what I think." He didn't answer fast enough. The silence broke her. She turned and walked out, ignoring his calls, his messages, his driver waiting outside her building. Days passed. No sleep, no appetite, no explanation, until a week later, a letter arrived at her door with no name, just a wax seal bearing the letter K. Inside was a single line. "Meet me where it all began." Confused and trembling, Emma went to the small cafe where she had first met his driver months ago. But Alexander wasn't there. Instead, an old man in a black suit approached her. "Miss Collins, Mr. Knight requested I give you this." He handed her a small flash drive and left. Emma's heart pounded as she plugged it into her laptop. A video played. Alexander sat at his desk, eyes tired but sincere. "Emma," he began, "if you're watching this, it means I couldn't fix what I broke. That woman you saw, she was my ex-fiancée. She came back to threaten me, to use your name to destroy my reputation. I tried to protect you by pushing you away, but I failed. You once told me mistakes can change everything. You were right. You changed me. I'm leaving the company. By the time you see this, I'll be gone." The screen went black. Emma's breath came in sharp waves. Gone. What did that mean? She searched his name online. News articles flooded the internet. Billionaire CEO missing after mysterious helicopter crash. Her hands shook. Her eyes blurred. For a moment, she refused to believe. She kept calling his number for days. It always went straight to voicemail. Weeks passed. Life went on without him, but she didn't. Every night, she stared at her phone, reading old messages, listening to his voice in her head. Until one evening, months later, she received a text from an unknown number. "Did you miss me?" Her heart stopped. The message was followed by another. "Look out your window." Emma rushed to the glass, and froze. Down on the street, under the glow of the streetlights, stood Alexander Knight. Alive. Dressed simply, no bodyguards, no cars. Just him. She ran down, tears blinding her. "You're alive," he smiled faintly. "You didn't think I'd let fate have the last word, did you?" She threw her arms around him. "What happened?" he whispered. "I left everything behind. The company, the money. I wanted to see if you'd still love the man without the title." She pulled back, staring into his eyes. "I didn't fall for the billionaire. I fell for the man who replied to a wrong text." He laughed softly. "Then let's start again. No lies. No past." And as the city hummed around them, Emma realized that destiny's mistakes aren't mistakes at all. They're messages from the universe, disguised as chaos. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because love like this doesn't happen twice, it happens once, by accident, and changes everything forever.